There is a sacred hour, a holy hush that blankets the world when all is still and heaven leans close to listen. That hour, 3 a.m., is not just another moment in the night, it is the hour of visitation, the hour when God whispers to the hearts that dare to listen. If you've ever awakened at that time, you were not disturbed, you were invited. But before that hour comes, before the clock strikes 3, there are keys to prepare your spirit, 7 divine postures that open the gates between heaven and your soul. The soul cannot rise when it is weighed down by noise. Every sound, every distraction, every restless thought becomes a wall between you and the gentle whisper of heaven. Before you sleep, there must be a holy quiet, a stillness that is not found in silence alone but in surrender. The world is always speaking, through worry, through memories, through the endless noise of what tomorrow may bring. But the Spirit will not compete with chaos. He waits for peace to enter your heart. When the day ends, and you lie upon your bed, ask yourself, have I silenced the voices that speak louder than God? Close your eyes and breathe out the world. Let go of the weight of what did not go right, what did not finish, what was misunderstood. The presence of God does not come to the restless. He comes to the rested heart. Whisper softly, Lord, quiet me. Quiet the storms within me, quiet the noise around me. You will find that peace is not something you chase, it is what enters when you stop running. Still the noise before you sleep, the noise of ambition, the noise of fear, the noise of comparison. These are thieves of rest, robbers of revelation. Every worry you carry into the night becomes a barrier to divine visitation. But when you choose calm over concern, heaven draws near. The Holy Spirit moves easily through a mind that has been emptied of its own opinions. There is a mystery in silence. It's where faith breathes. It's where your spirit learns to listen instead of demand. When the body sleeps and the heart is still, heaven begins to whisper. The moment you stop rehearsing your pain and start releasing it, the divine begins to write new melodies in your dreams. Before you close your eyes, lay your hand over your heart and say, I release this day to you. Do not carry into your rest the weight that grace has already lifted. The world may sleep with noise, but you will rest with peace, for only in quietness can the voice of eternity be heard. When your mind finally grows silent, the heavens open, and you realize He has been waiting for this silence all along. Forgiveness is not weakness, it is freedom. The soul that holds on to offense cannot rise into the presence of God. Bitterness builds invisible chains, locking you to moments that were never meant to define you. Before you sleep, cleanse your heart. Let the memories that once wounded you fall into His hands. You cannot carry both grace and grudges into the same night. One must leave for the other to stay. There is no true rest in a heart that has not forgiven. You may close your eyes, but your spirit will still wrestle. Every unspoken hurt, every silent resentment becomes a weight that pulls you down when heaven is trying to lift you. Forgiveness is not saying, what they did was right. It's saying, I will not let what they did keep me from peace. It is an act of surrender, a handing over of justice to the one who judges rightly. Before you lay down, whisper their name, the one who betrayed you, the one who misunderstood you, the one who broke your trust. Speak softly, Lord, I release them. You will feel the heaviness begin to break. Tears may come, but those tears are the washing of the soul. They are not weakness. They are worship. Forgiveness does not always change the person who wronged you, but it changes you into someone who can breathe again. The Spirit cannot dwell where resentment rules. The presence of God comes easily to a heart that is clean. You cannot pour out love when bitterness fills the cup. Let His mercy flow through you like a river, washing every corner of your heart. Remember how much you have been forgiven. That is where power begins. And as you drift towards sleep, your heart will feel light, unchained, at peace. Heaven will find rest in you because you have made room for it. Forgiveness is the key that unlocks divine visitation. It prepares your spirit to rise when He calls at 3 a.m. It says to heaven, I am ready. Nothing binds me anymore. In that freedom, the whisper of God becomes clearer, and your dreams become sanctified ground. You cannot rise into divine moments while your soul is still chained to worry. The Spirit comes to the surrendered, not the striving. Lay down every burden before you close your eyes. Every fear, every unanswered prayer, every secret concern, place them gently in His hands. Do not wrestle with what you were never meant to carry. The night is holy when the heart has emptied itself of weight. There are things you were never designed to fix. The burden to make everything right, the pressure to hold everything together. That is not your cross to bear. When you cling to control, peace slips away. But when you whisper, "Lord, I trust you with what I don't understand," heaven takes over. The angels move where surrender begins. The moment you release your care, your spirit rises. You may not see the answer yet, but you will feel the burden lift. Your chest will lighten, your thoughts will quiet, and your heart will find rest. This is not escape, it is exchange. You give him your weight and he gives you his peace. You hand him the fragments of your worry and he gives you the wholeness of his presence. Every burden is a conversation you have not yet handed to God. So speak it. Tell him everything, the fear of tomorrow, the pain of the past, the confusion of today. Tell him and then let it go. The night was not made for fear, it was made for faith. When you rest, it is a declaration that you trust him more than your anxiety. Lay down your burden before sleep, because heaven cannot pour into hands that are full. When you finally release it all, something sacred happens. You begin to float in grace. You will find yourself waking at 3 a.m. not in distress, but in divine stillness. That is when you know you've exchanged your heaviness for his presence. In that surrender, the voice of God moves freely, and his peace wraps around you like the soft light of dawn. Do not wait for the clock to strike 3 to begin seeking him, for the presence of God is not summoned by time but by desire. Long before that sacred hour arrives, your heart must already be reaching. Whisper your invitation in the stillness of the evening. "Lord, if you come in the night, I will be ready." The Spirit draws near to those who prepare a place for him. You cannot expect divine visitation if you have not prepared divine space. The invitation must be sincere, gentle, and alive with hunger. There is a difference between those who hope for his presence and those who host it. Hope looks to heaven with questions, but hunger opens the door without needing to see who knocks. When you invite him before the hour, heaven takes notice. Angels take record of hearts that anticipate the presence of God more than sleep. You are not just asking him to wake you, you are asking him to dwell. Whisper to him before you close your eyes, "Come, Lord, even if I do not see you, rest over me while I rest in you." That simple prayer becomes a fragrance that fills your room. The atmosphere changes, peace enters, the air feels lighter, and the walls seem to listen. You may not hear anything yet, but heaven is already moving closer. He comes where he is wanted. He visits where he is welcome. And those who yearn for him before the hour find themselves awakened by his gentle touch, not by the sound of a clock. The moment your heart burns with longing, the night becomes holy ground. So before the night deepens, before the silence grows thick, prepare the altar of your heart. Speak softly to him. Let your thoughts turn toward eternity, your breath slow with awe. The invitation is not in words alone, it is in posture. When your spirit bows in anticipation, heaven bows to meet you. And when that hour comes, you will not need to search for his presence, for you will already be in it. Keep the word beside your bed, for it is not just ink on paper. It is breath, alive and waiting to speak. The night is a battleground of thoughts, and the word is your light in that darkness. When your eyes open in the stillness of 3 a.m., let them fall upon truth, not distraction. The first thing your soul should meet is not the glow of a screen, but the glow of Scripture. It will guard your spirit from the lies that whisper in the dark. Before you sleep, open the word and let it wash your heart clean. Read a verse not to finish it, but to feel it. Let it linger. Let it settle into your spirit like oil sinking into dry wood. When you close your eyes, the word continues to speak, not in sound, but in peace. It becomes the melody beneath your dreams, the whisper that reminds you that you are not alone. Heaven responds to the heart that treasures the word. When you honor it before you rest, the Spirit visits through it while you sleep. The pages may lie still, but the power within them never does. There are promises written there that will rise to the surface of your soul when he wakes you in the night. You may wake suddenly, feeling the pull to pray. Do not rush. Reach for that word. Let it guide your tongue and your tears. Open to the place you read before sleep. You'll find it glowing differently now. Alive, personal, and prophetic. The same verse that seemed simple in the light of day will speak with fire in the silence of night. Keep it near, not as a ritual, but as a reminder that your bed is an altar, your rest an offering. The word beside you is like a lamp left burning through the night, keeping darkness from entering. When you wake at 3 a.m., it will already be speaking, "Peace, be still, I am here." And you will know it was not you who remembered the word, but the word that remembered you. Prayer is not meant to begin at 3 a.m. It begins long before your eyes close. It is not the sudden act of a desperate soul, but the steady rhythm of a surrendered heart. Many wait for the hour to find God, yet those who truly encounter Him are the ones who meet Him before the hour arrives. Pray before you sleep, for prayer is the bridge between the end of one day and the birth of another. It is how your spirit tells heaven, I am ready, even in my rest. When you pray before you sleep, you prepare the atmosphere around you. You are not merely whispering words into the air. You are establishing a place for the divine to dwell. The Spirit does not move in crowded hearts. He moves in consecrated ones. As you lay your head down, let prayer be your final conversation. Let every sigh, every tear, every word be a seed planted in the soil of silence. The night will water it, and by the time the sacred hour comes, heaven will have already answered. Prayer before sleep is not about long speeches or perfect language. It is the posture of the heart that says, God, you are my peace. Even a single whispered name, Jesus, spoken with faith, carries more power than 1,000 empty phrases. When your last thought of the day belongs to Him, your dreams become a sanctuary. You rest not just your body but your burdens in His hands. He hears prayers that are whispered through weariness just as deeply as those shouted in faith. The soul that prays before sleep does not fight for rest, it receives it. Prayer drains the poison of the day, the worries that cling to your mind, the regrets that haunt you in silence. Every moment of prayer before you sleep is an act of release. You're saying, Lord, I'm giving back what I was never meant to carry through the night. That's when the atmosphere shifts. The unseen becomes peaceful. The unseen becomes holy. Angels draw near to the resting believer who prays before slumber, for the prayerful heart becomes heaven's dwelling place even in dreams. It is in those gentle, quiet prayers that you set your spirit in rhythm with eternity. When your last words are prayer, your heart continues the conversation while you sleep. The Spirit intercedes through you, the word echoes within you, and even as your body rests, your soul remains awake to God. You will find that when 3 a.m. arrives, you will not wake startled or confused. You will awaken already in prayer. You will open your eyes not to start speaking, but to continue what never ended. Praying before you sleep also trains your heart to remain aware of His nearness. It keeps your focus away from fear and turns your attention to faith. Many lie awake at haunted by what ifs and maybes. But the one who prays knows. There is nothing the night can bring that God has not already covered. You sleep in confidence not because the world is safe, but because your spirit is shielded. Every word spoken before sleep is like a light planted in the dark, and no shadow can overcome it. Even if you feel nothing when you pray, keep praying. Feelings are not the proof of faith. Consistency is. The heavens listen to persistence. There are nights when your words may seem dry, your heart tired, your spirit distracted, yet even then the Lord leans close. He reads the intent of your heart beyond the weakness of your words. Prayer before sleep is not about emotion. It is about alignment. It's about saying, even if I don't hear you now, I choose to stay close. Make it your habit, your rhythm, your nightly surrender. Do not let your last thoughts be filled with worry or regret. Let them be filled with worship. Whisper a psalm, thank Him for His faithfulness. Invite His presence to hover over your dreams. Say, Lord, let your Spirit watch over me tonight. Let my breath praise you even in rest. You'll find that this kind of prayer builds a sanctuary out of your sleep. Your room becomes holy ground, and even the air feels lighter, charged with peace. And when He wakes you in the stillness, it won't be as a stranger. You will not be startled by His presence because you invited Him before you drifted away. The one you spoke to before sleep will be the same one who whispers your name in the dark. You will rise not from interruption, but from invitation. Prayer before sleep is the secret of those who walk closely with God. It keeps your spirit tuned to His frequency, ready to receive when He speaks. The night ceases to be ordinary. It becomes sacred time. Each hour is marked by His presence, each dream becomes a message, and each awakening becomes an encounter. So do not wait for the hour to pray, start before it comes. Pray not because you must, but because you love. Pray not to summon Him, but to stay near. And as you do, you will find that even your rest becomes worship, and your nights become gateways to glory. He does not always come with fire or shaking. Sometimes, He enters the room so softly that the air itself seems to hold its breath. Expect His whisper, not His thunder. The Almighty does not need volume to reveal power. When he speaks in stillness, it is not because he is distant, but because he is close. His whisper is proof of intimacy. You do not whisper to a stranger, you whisper to one who is near enough to feel your breath. That is how God speaks at 3 a.m., not to impress but to invite. Many wait for the dramatic, a sign, a vision, a shaking in the heavens. But his greatest revelations are often hidden in gentleness. When he awakens you in the night, do not rush to speak. Do not fill the silence with words he has not given. Be still and listen. His whisper may not come as a sound at all. It may come as a thought that brings peace, a name that rises in your spirit, a sudden warmth that fills the room. Heaven speaks in ways the mind cannot measure. There are times he comes only to let you know he is near. No message, no vision, no instruction, just his presence. And that presence alone is enough. Do not miss the sacred because you were searching for the spectacular. The whisper carries more weight than the thunder ever could, for thunder shakes the earth, but a whisper changes the heart. When God speaks in thunder, he shows his might. When he speaks in a whisper, he shows his mercy. The thunder tells the world he exists, but the whisper tells your soul he knows your name. That is the sound that transforms you. You may be half asleep, your eyes heavy, yet your spirit will recognize that holy nearness. That's when the tears come, not from sadness but from recognition. The creator of galaxies just leaned close to breathe peace into your chest. Expect his whisper, and you will never be disappointed. If you only seek his thunder, you may miss his tenderness. He does not need to roar to be real. He does not need to shout to be strong. When you awaken in the stillness and the room feels sacred, stay there. Do not hurry. Let your heart adjust to the silence, that's where he moves. The whisper will enter gently, like wind through the leaves, like light through glass. It may speak a single word, peace. It may remind you of a promise you forgot. Or it may simply settle upon you like rest. The whisper is the language of those who have learned to trust without seeing. It is how heaven speaks to the mature, those who no longer demand proof but find beauty in presence. The thunder awakens the fearful, the whisper awakens the faithful. And once you have heard that whisper, nothing else will satisfy. So when he wakes you in the night, lean in. Don't look for the storm, look for the stillness. You will find him there, not in the loud but in the quiet. And in that quiet the world will fade, time will slow, and your heart will know the sound that only eternity can make. The sound of God breathing near you, not to frighten but to fill. Not to command but to commune. That is his whisper. The holy invitation that says, you are not alone. I am here. There comes a moment when the night itself becomes holy, when silence turns into sanctuary and time stands still. The 3 a.m. hour is not just another passing moment, it is the breath between heaven and earth, where eternity reaches into your reality. But this hour does not belong to the restless or the distracted. It belongs to the prepared. Those who have stilled the noise, forgiven the pain, invited his presence, laid down their burdens, kept his word, prayed before sleep, and learned to listen for his whisper instead of his thunder. These are the ones heaven trusts with visitation. This is not about chasing a time on the clock. It is about living in a posture of expectancy. The same God who calls you at 3 a.m. can meet you at 3 p.m., but when he chooses that sacred hour, it is because your spirit is most still and your world most quiet. He chooses the hour when there is no audience, no distraction, no pretense, only you and him. That is where power is born, not in noise but in nearness. If he wakes you, do not roll over and return to sleep. Rise, lift your heart, whisper his name. That hour may be carrying an instruction, a healing, a vision, or simply a reminder that you are not forgotten. Heaven does not call the indifferent, it calls the hungry. And every time you answer, something in you changes. Your faith deepens, your sensitivity sharpens, your spirit aligns with his heartbeat. This is the secret of those who walk in divine rhythm. They know that the invitation of God often comes when the world sleeps. He does not need a crowd to perform a miracle. He needs a vessel that will listen in the dark. You are that vessel. You are that place of meeting. And if you continue to prepare your heart before the hour and respond when he calls, you will carry the fragrance of his presence into the dawn. So when that moment comes again, when the night is heavy and your eyes open without reason, remember, it is not the clock calling. It is the King. Do not fear the darkness. It is only the curtain before revelation. Rise and meet him. Speak little, listen much, and let the silence become sacred. For in that stillness,